Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to the Bikes or Death podcast. My name is Patrick, and I'll be your host today. And on today's episode, we have got Tour Divide second and third place finishers. I am chatting with Manu Cattrysse and Adrien Liechti, and I hope that I got their names right. I asked them to send me audio files on how to pronounce their names, and I got them on Instagram, but I guess after you listen to them, they expire, and so I couldn't go back and listen to them, so I hope we got them right, guys. But this conversation takes place the day after both of them finished their Tour Divide races in second and third place. I thought it'd be fun to bring these guys on at the same time. There's an interesting connection between them because prior to the race, Adrien's bike, all of his gear was lost in transit, and he put a call out to the bike universe to try to source all of the stuff he needed. And Manu actually came through big time and got Adrien a bike, and Adrien almost beat Manu on his own bike. But it does mean that Manu is the first ever Tour Divide finisher to have two bikes in the top three places. So that was a cool tie-in. And again, it is just so much fun to be able to sit down right after someone finishes the Tour Divide and talk to them in the moment. This conversation, again, just like the one with Sofiane, takes place at Jeff Sharp's little bike hostel there called the Bike Ranch in Hachita, New Mexico. And I hope you enjoy it. But before we get to today's episode, I'd like to play you a little clip from the latest episode of the Bikes or Death After Party.
I was a man on a mission, actually. I was like, especially the first 3 or 4 days, when I was hiking in the snow, I was doing it without any emotions at all. No negative, no positive. I was just kind of like a machine, like a robot, just pushing, and just with this idea that if it's there, if the snow is there and I get to hike it, I'm gonna do it. It was just a matter of doing the things that needed to be done to get that win. And that was all.
Okay, well, that is just a little sneak preview of the latest Bikes or Death After Party episode. If you're not familiar, the After Party is a patron-only podcast. It's a little way for us to say thank you to the people who support our work. And that episode is available now over at patreon.com/Bikes or Death. There is about 20 minutes of audio of Sofiane and a group of us just there at the finish line of the Tour Divide chatting. It's very informal, and several people are asking questions, and Sofiane is just answering and just chatting with us. And then there's about a 45-minute conversation because after we left the border, I actually got to give Sofiane a ride back to Jeff Sharp's house. It's about a 45-minute drive. I recorded it because I'm a podcaster. That's what I do. And I asked Sofiane if I could release it to the patrons, and he said yes. And so there's a little over an hour of content from Sofiane right after, literally minutes after winning the Tour Divide. Very casual conversations, raw audio, raw everything. But if you're interested in that, that is available now to patrons. If you're not a patron, you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. And with that, let's take a moment to thank our latest batch of patrons. We had quite a few sign up this week, and it is much appreciated. This last trip to cover the Tour Divide, there's a time cost and a financial cost, and those types of trips and this kind of style of podcasting would not be possible without my patrons that support the show. And so without further ado, let's thank the newest group of patrons, starting with Mark Knight, Tom Calm. I think this guy's literally, his name is Tom Kom. What a great name for a cyclist. We got Boni from Hungary, Alan Hanley, David Crumpton, Al Arbor, Eric Graham, Josh Stair, Yasmin Boakye, Dexter Kopas, and Chelsea Gay. Wow. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. Your support makes episodes like this possible, and we thank you. You know, the other thing that you've made possible through your support is this past week, Bikes or Death hit number 8 on the podcasting charts in the outdoor category, which is huge. I mean, that puts us up with the big dogs like Alex Honnold's Climbing Gold podcast and the Dirtbag Diaries, which is one I'm a huge fan of. Both of those actually are great podcasts. And so to see my podcast up there with other podcasts like that I really admire, I'm sure some of y'all listen to them, is huge. But we're a very small operation. I've got a couple of helpers and good things are happening. The reality is that we couldn't do it without our patrons and without our sponsors. And so thank you for supporting the Bikes or Death podcast. It really makes all of the difference. Today's episode is brought to us by my friends over at Ruby Coffee. Something I want you to know about Ruby is that they are huge supporters of enjoying coffee outdoors, whether you're hiking, camping, or cycling. And they have a variety of options for coffee on the go. They have their instant creamery blend and a steeped creamery blend. And now they have an organic steeped August seasonal blend. Their instant creamery is made from brewing coffee that's been dehydrated, so it dissolves in hot and cold water. And their steep features freshly ground coffee in a mesh filter bag, which is then flush sealed into the individual sachet and is brewed by steeping in boiling water like a tea bag. Steeped is perfect for people who want a fresh cup of coffee and have access to boiling water. Ruby launched its steeped offerings with August as their flagship blend, and now August is certified organic as well. Organic Steeped August is a bright breakfast blend designed to be easy drinking. All you need to do is open the pack, dunk the filter bag in a mug, add 8 to 10 ounces of hot water, and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. Sounds delicious? Pick yourself up some over at rubycoffeeroasters.com, and don't forget to use the code BikesOrDeath for 15% off any one-time coffee purchase or the first shipment of any subscription over at rubycoffeeroasters.com. Our episode today is also brought to us by Kuat Racks. You know Kuat, you know that they make the best rack on the market, but are you ever wanting greater access to your rear door, your tailgate, your hatchback, whatever it is? Then look no further than the Kuat Pivot V2. This is a hitch swing accessory. So what does that mean? It means that your rack is going to hook up to the Pivot V2, and when you want to access your trunk or your tailgate or your hatchback, it's going to swing 120 degrees out of your way, taking your bike with it and exposing the glory of the back of your vehicle. Sound good? Of course it does. A couple things to note. This swing will open to the driver or the passenger side. It's only available for a 2-inch hitch, and it's in stock now, which is pretty amazing because it's been back ordered for like a really long time. So if you love your rack, but you want to get it out of the way so you can get to the back of your vehicle, check out the Pivot V2 over at kuat.com. Remember, Kuat, because you love your bike. All right, everybody, we did it. We've thanked the thankies and we've paid the bills. And now it is time to get to today's episode. But first, let's have my friend Miles Arbor take it away with the Bikes or Death theme song.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes or death. Bikes or death.
All right, everyone. I am sitting here with Tour Divide number 2 and number 3, Manu and Adrien. Congrats, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
How are y'all feeling right now? Manu, start with you. Just for perspective, anyone listening, we're sitting here on the morning after you finished. So you've slept. We ate some pancakes. We ate pancakes with ice cream. I said y'all ate pancakes. Actually, Manu, you had like 2 bowls of oatmeal, big bowls of oatmeal.
Yeah, man.
Then pancakes, ice cream.
Yeah, that was really needed. I'm feeling good. Glad to be here. And had a lot of food yesterday and today as well. So it's stocking up again, I guess, and just recovering. And had a really good sleep this night, and I feel a lot better now. So
Adrien didn't snore too bad.
no, not at all, actually.
I know.
Sofiane was a lot worse, I guess.
It was funny. The first night I slept with him, I mean, he sounded like a grizzly bear. But then last night, he didn't snore hardly at all. Okay. But he told me, he's like, I only snore when I'm really, really tired. And so
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird. It's like if you're really tired, he sounds like a freaking grizzly. But last night was fine, so we all slept good. Me, most importantly. What about you, Adrien? How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good today. My legs are not swollen, so that's a surprise. Because after every races, I have a swollen leg, and I feel good.
What about your toe?
I think my nails are dead on my toes.
Yeah.
Too much cycling.
Yeah, one of his toes is like coming off, and it's gross.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's the price you pay.
Yeah.
That might be the biggest injury that we've seen actually out of the top 3. I mean, Sofiane's knee's a little banged up. You have Manu, no injuries.
Yeah. No issues.
Just no. And
just
then
had some sore knees yesterday afternoon, but other than that, nothing to complain about. So pretty lucky.
Yeah, it's crazy. All y'all got out pretty unscathed.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, maybe because this race is not a lot of climbing. It's mostly flat and long stretch.
Did he just said not a lot of climbing?
No, it's only 45,000 meters on 4,000 kilometers. It's not a lot.
It's a lot of rolling hills indeed, and there's some steep stuff, but not all the time. So you're right, and
So where you come from, is there a lot more climbing, or are you just used to more climbing?
Yeah, I did races with more climbing. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer that?
No, I like to travel more than climbing more.
Yeah. So the Tour Divide maybe suits you a little bit better than some other races.
Yeah.
So let's get a little background on both of you. Adrien, why don't you start? Just where are you from, and what has been your Tour Divide history leading up to this year's Tour Divide?
Yeah, I'm from Switzerland, from Geneva. I'm bike messenger in this city, and I'm a cyclist since 25 years. I did a lot of mountain bike and road races before in the late 90s, and after that I started to travel more by bike, and I did my first bike packing race in 2016. It was in Italy, and my dream was to race the Tour Divide one year, and I did it this year. Yeah.
Oh, this was your first year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm the first rookie. Yeah.
You're the first rookie finisher. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Okay, I forgot that you mentioned that. All right, we'll come back to that. Manu?
Yeah, so I'm from Belgium. I'm working as a full-time bike mechanic there. And I got into bikepacking by just bike touring, actually. Did some nice long distance, a few 8-month bike trips. In my 20s, when I was a kid, I grew up doing bike tours with my parents and sisters, a few month trips in Europe. And yeah, doing this 8-month trip with my girlfriend and like crossing all of North America, I heard about this this race going on this on the Great Divide mountain bike road. So yeah, once I heard about that, we were at that point just like touring this route, and it sounded pretty tempting to like give this a shot. So yeah, then 2 years after that, I was at the start line in Banff to race it. But yeah, it was my first ultra event ever. So I did cycle a lot at that point, but never done any other events. So I really had no clue at that point what was gonna happen, or there's a big difference between cycling a lot and like getting into an ultra event and giving all you got. So yeah, that time I finished in just under 18 days, which was pretty cool.
What year was that?
Yeah, that was in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just felt like this race kind of gets under your skin, and you always want to come back to do better. So yeah, I did a lot of more specific training, like especially the last 2 years. Also got a lot more experience in doing other events like French Divide, Atlas Mountain Race, and races like that. So yeah, this time I was a lot better prepared, experience-wise and also just physically. And I'm super happy the way it worked out. Yeah, so
what did your training look like to get ready specifically for the Tour Divide coming back this year? Because one thing that's really important to keep in perspective is people coming from overseas have a lot more logistical challenge, financial challenge, time constraints, all of these things. So for y'all to make the commitment to come here, you want to get it right? You want to put in the work and...
Yeah. It's not if you scratch, it's it always has a bit more of how you say this, consequences, right? So, like you say, you want to do it right, and so yeah, my training. I started working with a training coach, Rose, since like a year and a half now, I think, and I've been doing like quite a bit of structured training just to get like the most quality out of training while having a busy life, having a full-time job and 2 kids and all that. So
and your wife also does these types of events, and so one neat thing about y'all is y'all are always like trading off on.
Yeah.
So next it's her turn, and she's doing Atlas or Silk Road? Atlas, right?
Yeah, Atlas Mountain Race. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the training, you think the training helped? Did they train you specifically for the Tour Divide? Did your coach?
That was like my main goal for this year. So
is your coach familiar with the Tour Divide?
She is now, but she wasn't before. She's actually like a retired road racer. So for her, it was also quite a bit of like sort of a challenge to like train someone for ultra events. It's a completely different thing, so compared to like training someone who's just who's training for criterium races or something like that, it's a whole different kind of training, and but yeah, in the end it just comes down to getting better on the bike and spend more time on like more hours on the bicycle and train like more specific for like the long climbs and that stuff, and just Right
on. So Adrien, how did you prepare and train for Tour Divide, especially considering you've never been here before? This was your first time and you had an excellent result, so obviously worked out.
I don't train at all because I'm a bike messenger. I ride 100 to 150k each day, 10 hours on the saddle. So no, I don't need to train. Just ride my bike every day and prepare good bicycle for the race, and that's it.
Yeah, but what about like logistical stuff? And did you have a strategy coming in for when you were going to sleep or anything, or was your strategy just to push it?
No, just for this race, I didn't check the route at all. I just took 36 hours of food on me.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
So your strategy was to always have 36 hours of food, or every
Yeah.
time you resupplied,
Yeah.
you'd say, okay, I just need 36 hours of food.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Well, it's always good to have some extra, you know. Some
Yeah.
stretches are pretty long, and anything can happen. Like when we got stuck a few times in this peanut butter mud.
Yeah.
Before you know, you're losing like 10 hours or so, and it's it's really easy to like think I will be there in like 5 hours, and before you know, it takes you a day longer. So
Yeah, if you trust your bike and you have enough food.
Yeah, you can
that's-
just keep
that's
going,
good.
and as long as you have food and water, it's there's no problem actually. So it's about it.
So did you learn anything doing it this year that you would do different
Nah,
if you
yeah.
came back to do it?
I took a lot of notes this year. For example, on the
Mental notes or actual notes?
actual notes
Really?
on my phone. Yeah.
That's great.
I pinned some shelters, some toilets, some shops, the opening hour. Sometimes it's not necessary to arrive at 6 in the morning in the front of the shop, and the shop open at 9. So
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes.
Yeah. So you're planning on coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any inclination of when you might come back? I mean,
Yeah, I want to do 1 day less. I think it's possible.
but will you come back next year?
No, maybe not. Maybe not next year. In 2 years. yeah.
Usually it takes 2 years
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people.
Especially if I think you're coming from overseas. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so much more of a financial burden and everything else to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also crazy. You know, we watch the Tour Divide every year, and we know that the Tour Divide finishes like in the middle of nowhere. But until you're actually out here, you realize how remote it is. And now we're sitting in Jeff's house, and you see kind of the chaos behind the scenes of like, how do we get you guys back to Belgium and Switzerland? Yeah, Switzerland. Yeah. It's like there's 2 train stations, one in Tucson, one's in El Paso. So you have a few hour drive just to get there, but you have to have someone to get you there, and y'all don't have friends in town or anything like that. So
Yeah, I mean, not to imagine like if Jeff wouldn't be here, you would just end up at the border, and you would have to ride back 65 miles to the first town, or is it 45 miles, and then
I think it's 65.
and then you probably would have to like hitchhike or something to Lordsburg and then get a bus from there. It would be like a whole different situation. And now, yeah, we get picked up by Jeff, or I got picked up by you, and yeah, there's like a safe haven, you know. It's like you get a place to recover a few days, and then you're good to get home again. So
Yeah, this has been neat for me because I got to give first, second, and third place all rides from the finish line to Jeff's house, which is about 45 minutes. I don't know. I mean, other than Jeff, I don't know how many people have got to do that and just like hang out with, you know, Tour Divide winners. Y'all are winners. Everybody else is losers, according to Jeff. Yeah, this place is like pretty amazing. I don't know how I haven't heard more about this. You know, you always hear about the race, but you never really think about the logistics that go into getting you back home. And just, And the other thing that was surprised me is when Sofiane finished, there was like 8 or 10 people. It's like a decent little crowd, but not like a lot of people. When y'all finished, there was nobody.
Nope.
There was me.
Yep.
That's it. Like I was just like, if I wasn't here, y'all would just be finishing. And
yeah, it's so on the other side, it's really special as well. Like last time I finished there at 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was just me, and you sort of get the time to let it sink in and what you just achieved, and but of course, then there's the point of getting out of there, you know, and then it's really nice if you're being picked up and get to a place like this and rest. So it's special.
do you prefer finishing with somebody there or by yourself?
I guess both are nice, but like a race this long, and it's just like a part of it, I guess. It's always nice to have like some friends or family when you're at a finish line. Like when I did the French divide, my parents and girlfriend were waiting at me at the finish, which was really nice. But yeah, this one has something extra as well. It's nice. Yeah, it is how it is.
So Adrien, in other races over in Europe and other places y'all race, are there typically people at the finish line, or is it pretty rare to have finished to like no, or pretty common to finish to nobody?
Depend of the race, but for example, the Hope 1000, you finish at the Freddie Mercury statue,
right?
And you are alone, or with tourists around.
I guess the advantage there is you are in a town and there's resources, so it's not quite as extreme.
Yeah. Another example is the North Cap 4000. You finish at the North Cap in the middle of, at the end of the world. So you're alone. You have to come back home too.
So if you don't have a ride, you just ride your bike backwards.
Yeah, you have to ride to the next city.
I still haven't decided if this is stupid or awesome, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you could just finish it in one of these towns, like in Deming or, Lordsburg. It's like right there. It's like, no, fuck you. You got to ride the extra like 60, whatever miles it is to the border.
Straight
and then ride back. And if Jeff wasn't here, driving 45 minutes many times a day. Jeff isn't here right now because he went to go pick up 2 more riders. I've been picking up riders, and it's fun, but it's funny to think about the people who first made this route, and they're like, this is a good idea, especially because it was designed as a touring route, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't designed for racers. It's just for people who are touring. They're going to get to the finish like, this is it?
Yep.
And then you just turn around and ride back? Like, that's crazy. I love it though. I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's
But it is kind of silly. All right. So y'all's actually, kind of both of you, but Adrien, mostly you, your adventure started before the race ever even started. So this is kind of a neat storyline with how it all turned out and both of y'all sitting at the table right now. But probably a lot of listeners may have seen on Facebook, I think it was out on Instagram too, where one of the Tour Divide racers, their bike, their gear, everything got lost in transit, and that racer was you. And you are now sitting at the table with me, having completed in 3rd place. So what happened?
Yeah, we went with Sofiane 8 days before the start in Calgary. But my company lost my bike box with my bicycle, all my gear. And we stay in Calgary 6 days, and they didn't find my bike and everything. So I was only with my 2 GPS, my cycling shoes, and all my electrical stuff. So I was a little bit stressed about this. And finally, the Monday before the race, I made 3 stories on Instagram. So people helped me. I need a bicycle, clothes, everything for the start of the race in 5 days.
Yeah.
And after that, a lot of people text me and Manu say to me, I have my old or my salsa Quattro in large size. If you want it, I can take it with me. I arrive tomorrow in Calgary.
So yeah, basically what happened.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So you were still in Belgium.
Yeah,
and you answered the call, and you brought the bike with you.
I saw this message like the evening before my flight, at 6 in the evening. So yeah, I saw the message, and because I was in the same boat in 2018, my bike got lost as well. Well, it wasn't really lost; it just got on the wrong flight all the way to the south of the States. I think it was somewhere, in Texas or so. So yeah, I know what he was going through, and it's like a pretty stressy situation. You put all this time and effort and money in this, and then you end up here and there's no bike and no stuff. Yeah, my bike at that point was still like just a frame set, and I looked at my girlfriend and was like, yeah, I should just go for it, and I've been racing with Adrien a few times, so I just know he's like a good rider, and I know he's one of the guys like pushing the sport really hard. So yeah, I was just having a hard time, thinking that he couldn't race, So, and I knew he was gonna be like really racing with me. So yeah, it was just a nice idea of the fact that I just could like give him my bike and that he would be able to ride, And yeah, I mean, also it's just like we're in a really nice community, and doing stuff like this is only like helping the whole thing, So
It's a great example.
Yeah.
You have race leader helping another race leader possibly beat you on your own bike.
I mean, it was almost happening, I guess. He was really chasing me the whole time, so it was actually really nice that it worked out this way. So yeah, I saw his message at 6 p.m, and yeah, I started calling my boss and people to help out to get parts, and lucky I work in a bike shop. So yeah, my girlfriend went to get some parts there, like a new chain, cassette, tires, and everything I needed. Because at that point, like I said, it was just a frame set, so I still had to like build up the bike. And yeah, Tour Divide is not just like a 1,000-kilometer race, the bike needs to be good, and it's not the first best thing. You just put a bike in a box and whatever. So it has to be good, because you don't want to get stranded after like 500 kilometers with a shitty bike, So
and plus, you might feel a little guilty if you gave him like a shitty bike,
Yeah, as well.
Wouldn't feel good. You want to give him a good, you want to give him a good
something
bike.
That's at least good enough to get the job done, and I guess in the end, I mean, even with a brand new bike, stuff can happen. You never know, but it has to be like be a certain standard of like what the bike would be capable of. So yeah, I started building up the bike, and I think I got in Amsterdam at 1:30 at night. But yeah, I mean, with 2 bikes, so that was the only thing that mattered at that point.
So that was like 7.5 hours later.
Then I actually planned, yeah, sort of.
Well, yeah, because you got his messages at 6, and you said 7.5 hours later at 1:30. You've got the bike.
Yeah.
It's built, or did you just throw all the parts in a box?
No. Yeah, I mean, I put new tires on the wheel set. I put on a cassette. The only thing that still had to happen was putting on the derailleur, but I put the cables already there, so it was just like mounting it and like setting it all up. I put like new brake pads in there, a new bottom bracket, check the bearings in the headset, those stuff. And then putting it in the box, and then give him like some extra bags as well, like a saddle bag and a frame bag and some food pouches, aero bars, got some new pedals on there, installed the tires, tubeless, and actually at that point something, I don't know, went wrong in my booking, my own booking for the flight. So because I texted the flight company to ask if I could take like a second bike, they told me like, oh, there's not even one bike registered on your ticket. So I was like, oh shit. They said, yeah, you should have done this 72 hours ago. So actually I didn't know, like, until the time I was checking in my stuff on the airport, if I could like even take my own bike, and I was there with 2 boxes, and so it was all a bit stressy, yeah. For sure, but
you made it.
In the end, I mean, they even made me like only pay for 1 bike box because I didn't have any other luggage. So it was really cool how it turned out. So I get 2 bikes on the plane for the price of 1, and Adrien was waiting at me at the airport, and then I took a bike to his hotel and started like putting it together and having a test ride on it. And yeah, to be honest, I mean, endless respect for I mean, just being able to get a bike. I mean, he was obviously gonna ride the same bike, the Salsa Cutthroat from himself, but mine was built up with a flat bar because my drop bar, like the brakes and everything, really needed some good service, and they were not up to riding the Tour Divide. So I just had more confidence in like the SLX Shimano brakes on the flat bar with a 12-speed derailleur.
And it was an advantage for me to ride a flat bar for sure.
Yeah, on this track I started riding my Salsa in the past as well with the flat bar, and actually I liked it a lot more. Just more confident and less strenuous on the hands as well, and just a lot more stable, and just gives you a lot more speed on the downhills as well. So
I mean, all three of y'all are on flat bars with aero bars. So and that seems to be the most common Tour Divide rig.
Especially on this track, it's just it's either like long stretches just straight forward, and that's when you're in the drop bar and in the aero bars. And if you're climbing or if you're going downhill, it's just nice to have flat bars, I guess.
The only difference I noticed was rigid versus suspension.
Yeah.
So you were running suspension, front suspension, and you were a rigid front fork.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did Adrien? You piecemealed. It sounds like you got the bike on Wednesday, right? And race starts Friday morning.
No.
I arrived there on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I finished the build on Tuesday evening. Find some pulley for the derailleur. It was not easy to find this.
Yeah, right.
And on Wednesday, we rode with Sofiane, Zoe, and Andrea and Alan from Calgary to Wednesday, to Banff by bike.
Test ride.
How
Shakedown
far?
Yeah, we rode 140k.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that's a good shakedown ride. Yeah. So how did everything work? I mean, you scrambled. It's not just the bike; it's everything. You got to have electronics, the clothes. You borrowed everything. The bibs you were wearing were different. The saddle, everything was different. So how did it all work out? I mean, obviously you came in third, but
I made a little. How do you say this? Adjustment during this ride, and it was okay.
So you ride 100.
It's a bike.
It's just a bike. Yeah.
It's a bike and stuff.
Yeah. I guess if you know what you need.
Yeah.
You just have to. The crazy part is getting it all. Luckily, it was the same frame. You had a Salsa Cutthroat, so you kind of probably knew where you're going to put things in a frame bag. And
yeah.
So it was just a matter of sourcing everything. But once you had it, you might make some minor adjustments. But even, I think a lot of racers will, if you're riding this long, you might change your saddle height or make little adjustments. I know some racers do that. I don't know if y'all ever do that.
I didn't. Everything was just like perfectly how it should have been. And that's one thing. I mean, doing a race this long, like all the little details, you want everything to be like on point. And when you got a bike you're not used to, and I mean the bike is one thing, but also like all the other gear. If I'm not mistaken, you didn't even have like a good rain jacket and stuff like that, or a rain pant.
And I bought the cheapest one in Banff. It was a plastic rain jacket with a scratch in the front. I destroyed this jacket.
The bike is one thing, but just having to do this ride without the stuff you're used to, that's a different thing, man.
I think it
speaks
to his
hardcore.
like mental fortitude, because most are going to be freaking out. So on the morning of Tour Divide on Friday morning, were you nervous? Were you like concerned? I mean, you had all this probably anxiety and stuff trying to get everything ready, or did you calm down?
About my bike and my stuff?
Yeah, all this.
No, I was happy to ride.
You're feeling good?
Yeah. I was really happy to.
I get that, because you went from like, oh fuck, I came all this way, my shit's gone, I'm not riding, and now all of a sudden you are riding. So what's there to be sad about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, there's always places you go through in case if you need some extra stuff, you can always buy it,
Right.
But still, I mean, if you're really
like, "Oh, I forgot
racing,
that."
you don't want to get into this, and because then you have to go to shops and you just lose time and but yeah, it worked out really good, huh? Yeah.
So we have a couple records this year. One record is that, Manu, you're the first person to have 2 bikes on the podium in one year.
Yeah.
And it literally has Manu's name on the frame that Adrien was riding, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And you put on your track leaders that you were a sponsored rider by Manu, right?
Yeah.
And then he almost beat me.
I know. So were y'all competitive with each other? I mean, this was a pretty close race, especially up until probably halfway mark or a little bit past. There wasn't a lot of separation. Who were your biggest competitors when you were out there? Who were you chasing? Whoever wants to start. Who are you chasing? Who are you trying to not get caught by?
Well, I was feeling pretty strong from the beginning. From the first day, I was riding together with Ben and Sofiane and Josh. So I think the first 3-4 days I was more racing with Josh, and then we ended up riding together for a bit more than a day, which was really cool. Had some pretty tough moments there, which were really nice to sort of share them with Josh. And then, Josh didn't really feel very good. He had a chest infection from the beginning, so he ended up scratching at Lava Mountain Lodge just before Union Pass, I guess. And I think from that moment, so that's when Sofiane and Nate were still in the lead. And then a little later, I got into the second position once Nate scratched in Pinedale. And I think from out there, it was, Sofiane was way ahead, usually between 80 and 100 miles in front of me. So I think from that moment, it was pretty much between me and Adrien all the time. Sometimes I had a really nice gap, and then all of a sudden he was getting pretty close again. So I had a really good time racing with him. Sometimes it was getting pretty exciting, and then the last night I overslept in Python. So the day before I had a 50-mile almost gap, I think, and I overslept. I didn't hear my alarm. I was dreaming that I was already on my bike, so nothing was going on. It was really weird. And then I woke up and I saw he was about to cruise in town. He was 5 or 10 miles out of Python. Yeah, and I was looking. I put all my stuff ready to go the evening before, a few hours before. I only slept 4 hours or so. I was planning to sleep 2 hours and then try to make it all the way to the finish. I just woke up and I got on my bike and I was so pissed off at myself, and I started riding as hard as I could because I knew he was going fast as well and racing really hard. And then once in Glenwood, I messed up something with the GPX file, and I got off route for 10-15 miles, and luckily I had first time that day I had some phone reception. I checked the tracking, and that's when I saw I was off route. I couldn't believe it because my both GPS devices were telling me I had to stay on the highway, but apparently there was another gravel section before going into Silver City. So I lost 2 hours there. So Adrien was getting closer again. So it was always this bit of a yo-yo between the two of us, which was really nice. And then on this gravel section before Silver City, I got hit by a monsoon. A lot of rain came down there, and this whole trek became a mud fest in no time. Took hours to get through there, and as well for Adrien, of course. He spent the night there in the middle of the mud pit. And then I slept a few hours in Silver City in a motel, and then came all the way to the finish. Yeah.
So, did you ever pass Manu?
Never.
You were always...
I think we saw each other on day 2 or end of day 1.
Yeah, end of day 1 in this climb. Yeah, after the wall.
After the Coco Claims. Yeah.
So who were you racing most of the race? Were you always chasing Manu, or were there other?
No, I was racing against me, I think, because I don't like to look a lot at the tracker, and I was not in good shape. My leg was not very good since the beginning of the race, and I rode alone until day I don't remember exactly, when Ben and AB catch me just before the Grand Téton in this petrol station, and then we rode 2 or 3 days together. But Ben and AB are too strong for me. They stop a lot, but they ride fast, and it was so hard for me. So the last night we slept together, and I left at 3:15 in the morning, and they left at 4.
Was that at the detour there?
No, it was after the basin. We slept in a museum, in the front of the museum.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. And I forgot about the name of this place, but after the basin, when
after a long downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we slept there
just before Brush Mountain Lodge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
29 kilometers before
Savory,
Brush.
right?
In Savory, yes.
You slept in a museum?
No, it was in the front of the museum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just under an awning or something like that. Yeah.
They left some food and water in the,
they did?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it was a good place to camp. They were expecting.
Just after the rain,
See, that's one of the things you wouldn't know unless you ride it. You make a note. You're like, okay, they're gonna probably be there next year, but you wouldn't know that going into
these
it.
people give they have some food and drinks ready for people coming through.
Yeah,
you can buy some stuff there, and they only do this for people who are racing and touring as well, I guess. Because when I got there, it was early in the morning, and it was on a Sunday. I think 7 or 8 in the morning, and there was no one there, so I was kind of because I was running out of food there, and it's still a long stretch before you get to Steamboat Springs. But then of course there was this there's still Brush Mountain Lodge, and I knew Kirsten wasn't going to be around this year. The lodge is closed this season, but she's so nice. She still put some food and stuff out there. So had some drinks and a good rest there, and there were some pastas you can put in a microwave, and so it was good to go again. And had an hour stop there, I think, and got over the pass into Steamboat Springs, and then there's a lot of shops and stuff.
So Adrien, was it always your goal to just race yourself and not focus on what everybody else was doing?
At the beginning of the race, yes, but after I left Ben and AB, and I came closer to Manu. I think this day I took something like 40 miles to you, the day from Brush Mountain Lodge, because I rode at my pace without stopping, and it was easier for me to ride at my pace. I'm slow, but I don't stop, and I rode something like 26 hours without stopping a lot.
Yeah. So at that point, were you chasing Manu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, yeah.
Were you wanting to?
Yeah, you have always to look in front of you, not in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at that point, you're like, okay, I got a shot. I can take second, and I can beat him on his own bike.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Would you enjoy that?
No, enjoying. No, it was. No, the goal was to finish this race because it's long.
Yeah.
It would have made this whole bike story even better,
I don't know. It's pretty good. I don't know. I feel like maybe it worked the way it should because, like, karma-wise, should he beat you on your own bike? Maybe karma dictates he doesn't. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't make the rules, but it is a cool story, man. It's a cool story for the community, an example of how this community is. You can help each other.
Yeah, I guess there's no other community where stuff like this would happen, you know?
And what if Sofiane say, you know, you're not going to get pro Peloton racers making pancakes the morning after for your
for
competitor, you know?
Yeah, that's a whole nice thing in this community, I guess. And
no, it's a great story.
And in this race specifically, because it also like the way this race finishes is there's only this place, so you end up being together anyhow, which is really cool to like share stories after this whole thing. And because otherwise, you know, if you end up in a town, everyone gets his own hotel or gets a ride out or gets family picking them up, and you got separated from each other right away. And out here we at least get to spend some time together, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. I mean, we do this at my East Texas Showdown, the race that I host, and there's always a party afterwards, a big gathering. And I mean, there's like 100 people there, and everybody's telling their stories, and people are learning from each other. And, you know, it's just a great thing. And how there's not as, you know, you go home, I don't know what your social circles are like, but not everyone is going to be able to relate to the experience you just had the way the people in this room can relate to it, you know. On this year, these conditions, I mean, this is the only time that you can really share those stories and that camaraderie. And it's cool, man. True. I love this sport. I love how it all worked out. You were generous. You helped. I mean, the community, you helped them. Other people helped with other gear that you got. And then you were able to fucking do it and come in third. So it turned out to be a great story. But it would have been funny if he beat you on your own bike.
Yeah, I couldn't let that happen.
All right, so let's talk highs and lows. What's the best part of the route? What was your favorite experience, and what was the worst?
I guess highs and lows are there all the time, and it fluctuates like continuously. You're going from one low to another high, and then this race is all about getting through the low points, I guess. And I think for myself, like let's say darkest moment would have been after Sargent's. I was really tired there, and it's like this really kind of boring stretch, a little bit like desert looking area with there's just not much to see, and it's like the entire day before you get into Salida. It's it was just mentally a really tough day, and I was so tired, and I was just falling asleep all the time. I didn't have any power in my legs. I think I took like 2 or 3 15-minute power naps on that trail, and there was just such a heavy headwind, and everything was just working against me, I guess. But that's what this race is all about, and also other races, of course. It's just you have to just get it in your head that everyone has to face like the same or at least similar conditions, and you're not doing this alone in the end. And one day you're having a bad time or a hard time, and then the other guys will have a hard time at another point. So you just have to keep moving. Actually, just even if you're going super slow or if you're even walking, you just gotta make progress, and that's also already a big thing. Just don't stop, or at least stop as little as possible. And that was for sure in that area my lowest point, I guess. And actually I had a lot more like really nice times than low times. So it's hard to think of one that really pops out, actually.
Not a state or anything that you like the most?
I really like Montana a lot because it's the terrain, and it just there's more like difference in the terrain compared to like New Mexico or Colorado. I mean, every state has its nice things, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. It probably still has to sink in a little bit, and maybe in a few days I might like remember the like certain moments as I really pop out.
What stands out to you. But it's good to hear. I mean, it was a good experience. You know, you had a lot more highs than lows.
Yeah, sure.
That's great.
I mean, and I'm just really happy the way the race went, and I took like the decisions I made were all like made the way that they should have been made, and I kept like a really good focus during the whole race, so which is really nice, and I just felt ready for it, and I enjoyed it a lot actually. Even making it to the finish line, I was still like feeling pretty fresh, and it just worked out really well.
That's worth noting. Since I picked up all three of y'all, I have some perspective on this, and Manu was definitely I think he finished the freshest. He was like, I'm fine. I feel great. I'm like, nothing hurts. No, nothing hurts. I just...
yesterday I was thinking maybe it's still like sort of the adrenaline or, just finishing and the good feeling of finishing in second, which for me was like more than I could have dreamed of, really. But I mean, even today I had a good sleep last night, and I feel really good, like a lot better than when I finished in 2018, actually. So should have raced harder, I guess.
I think you could have gone harder.
Damn, I gotta come back.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Adrien? Highs and lows.
The lowest point was the peanut butter mud when I took the original routes, because in the middle of the race it was raining a lot in this section, and the organizer decided to reroute the rider, but he texted me and I didn't get the message because I was offline. It was impossible to check my message. So I took the route in this peanut butter mud, and I walked, I think, 6 or 7 hours with my bike on my back. It was horrible, and
you have to carry it on your back, because if you don't, your bike's just going to accumulate mud and be heavier, right? So
even the clearance of the cut-through fork was not enough big.
Yeah, even if you have horrible. Like a meter clearance, it just keeps clogging up and gets more and more, and there's only one way, and just lifting your bike on your back or whatever and just walk it, and then there's your shoes. I mean, every foot starts weighing 20 pounds, I guess, of mud. It's horrible, man. And I got into the section first. Sofiane already passed it in dry conditions. I saw the rain coming, and I tried to like ride as fast as I could. But it ended up raining, and after 10 minutes, it was like impossible to ride there. But I was like just at the point where, I was like, there's no way in continuing here. So I got back on track for like a mile and a half walking with my bike on my back. To get back on the pavement, and there I saw on the maps there was like an RV park, so I just decided to go out there and just think about how getting through this. And so I ended up calling Matthew to tell him, dude, this is just impossible to get through. So we were talking about it, and he said me like the way I could like make a detour. And where I was at the RV park, I wanted to let Adrien know, because at that point he was still just before like the mud section, but I couldn't reach him or anything, so I knew he was going to be fucked, So I knew in which mess he was going to get into, but there was no way on getting a hold of him. So so I had to go back the whole way where I actually started that morning on the pavement. So yeah, that was mentally also like a pretty like deep moment, like going back where you come from.
So
on such a long
Sofiane got
race.
through it,
Yeah.
and then it hit while you were in it.
Yeah.
You were the one that called Matthew Lee.
Yeah.
Matthew Lee did a reroute, but you didn't find out about it until you tried to reach him. Matthew Lee tried to reach you. Your
At least
phone-
not soon enough.
Yeah. And so you went through that whole section?
No, the 1/3. Yeah, I made the tour of the lake.
Yeah.
And I walk inside the lake to not be on the trail with my bike on my back. And after that, finally I called the organizer, and he said, you have to make a detour. And
Oh yeah, so you call him as well.
Yeah,
okay.
to scratch.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was yeah.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That is definitely your low moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
shit.
you call him to scratch it. What happens?
I said, no. You have to. You didn't get my message. You have to make the detour. And after that, I made another detour, and I was in 5th or 6th position. So I lost, I think, 6-7 hours or more. I don't know.
Yeah, because the guys behind Ben and Ape,
They all took the reroute.
Yeah, they were just like they could keep going on the pavement straight away. So we lost a lot of time there, and it was pretty frustrating, because you put in a lot of work to get where you are and in the spot you are, and then in no time you're just losing 7 hours or more, and just like a mile section.
Yeah.
And yeah, getting this figured out about the reroute and everything, that was a bit stressful, but it's a part of this game, I guess, and you just have to face it and reset yourself. You're like, okay, this happened. It's not the end of the world. You just got to keep going. It's still like, I don't know, 1,000 miles or whatever. So anything can happen anyway, and you just don't have to panic and keep going. So yeah, once back on the pavement doing this reroute, everything started going better again, and we knew there was more coming because there was a lot of monsoons here, and we were sure there wasn't going to be the first and last section with like a lot of
The
hustling.
interesting thing, Adrien, is I picked you up yesterday. We haven't talked about this yet, but so I picked up Manu, and there was a big storm coming. So Manu missed the storm, but you still had 35 miles, and you got caught up in the storm. And it was, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds, really hard rain. And you said there was tornadoes and lightning, and you were out in it. The funny thing is, when I picked you up, I'm like, were you scared? You're like, no, I like bad weather. But like, that didn't scare you, but the mud almost made you scratch. Like, most people would have scratched at lightning and tornadoes. They'd be like, you know what, this is fucking me out of here.
Yeah, lightning and tornadoes. It's only the weather. It can change after 1 hour or two, but the mud is the mud. If you are in a mud pit with peanut butter mud, you can walk during 3 days, I don't know, without water, without food. So you have to scratch, I don't know.
You were just stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was it hard to mentally pull yourself out from, because in your mind you said, okay, I'm going to scratch, I'm done. Was it hard to like mentally change that into, no, I'm still racing?
Yeah.
And I guess at that point it was a good thing you were together with Ben and Abe for a while, right? After that moment?
It was before the mud.
Before he was with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you slept with them on the campground after like on this detour, no?
No. It was before. It was in Wyoming. We crossed the Wyoming basin.
I thought Ben and Abe catched up on you because of you lost so much time there.
Yeah, they catch me, but
okay. Yeah.
Well, did they pass you and then you passed them?
Yeah, I passed them directly at night. I didn't sleep a lot, and
okay.
Yeah.
That's when you made your move.
Yeah, I made my move directly the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, man. So
yeah, that's like getting beaten down all the way and then being able to just crush it again. That's impressive, man.
I did an episode with Jacob Lose, who got second in Doom, which is in Arkansas, on a single speed. But he quit on route. Like he'd call the race organizer, "Hey, I'm scratching," and race organizer's like, "Are you sure?" And somehow he decided to stay in, and he went from scratching to coming in second place. It's like, man, if I would have scratched, it would have sucked, you know. Yeah. But it teaches like my perspective on that is, you're not always done. I mean, you did get a reroute, so that helped. But mentally, to like come back and get back in it.
Yeah, finishes at the finish line. You know, it's anything can happen until you're actually there.
Yeah.
I mean, even just 20 miles before the finish, still something can happen. You can get a mechanical and lose a lot of time in it, and
that's why I guess. I mean,
it stays exciting the whole time until you get there. Actually,
even as a dot watcher, man, like I was trying to time it to come here at the end of the race, and I'm watching everything, but I mean, there's no guarantees that Sofiane's going to win or anything. I mean, you could break something, you could crash, have a crazy mechanical, crazy weather. I mean, anything could happen.
Yep.
So it's just a crapshoot. So you guys are both very experienced racers. You've ridden all over. How hard is the Tour Divide compared to other stuff you've done?
I would say the hardest part of this race is just the length.
Yeah.
The length for sure. And I mean, this year we had a lot of extra challenges, I think, compared to other years before, like weather-wise. It was really cold, like entire Montana and some parts of Wyoming. It was like all day around freezing, and it just took a lot of extra energy just to stay warm and motivated. And then a lot of rain and this all these peanut butter sections, and it took something extra. I think a lot of people who were watching the race realized that things didn't come for free this edition.
So mostly
the wind was hard.
Yeah, the wind was. There was a lot of headwinds as well.
Days and days of wind.
It started with snow, basin, and then in the basin the wind picked up, and then you had mud, and then just inclement weather throughout.
And for us, it's not long. We are here.
Yeah.
All the riders are on the route.
Yeah. A lot of people are midway.
That's long.
Or not even, and they're. You know, they're facing the same elements and all that.
That's a good point. You're like, it's long for us, but it's doubly long for other people.
So I don't know, compared to other races, I think every race has its own challenges for sure. And I think to divide the length will be one of the biggest challenges. And this year, all the bad weather. But other than that, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because it was my second time, you sort of know what's coming terrain-wise as well. So I guess that makes a difference too.
What do you think, Adrien? Where does this rank in your in the races you've done?
Yeah, the length is different. It's longer, and for the food, it was easy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing.
Yeah, for the food it's easy. For the water is easy at the beginning. In Colorado too, you can find some river or something. And sometimes you are alone hours and hours.
Yeah. I've been.
But that's a good point for me. I like to be alone doing races.
Yeah, me too. Just being in your own little world and do your own thing. It's I like to the day and a half I've been riding with Josh together. That was really nice, and I enjoyed it a lot. But in the end, I just also like to be alone and just do your own thing. It's easy to get distracted from other people's there if you're riding together. Get distracted from their way of doing things, and it's easy just to stop more in moments you otherwise wouldn't. Or
it seems like if you're racing, you want to stick to your own program and not have to worry about what anybody else is doing.
It's just easier to stay in your own head but at some points, I guess it helps if there's someone somewhere around and you just keep meeting each other back and forth. Like I had with Seth Wood in 2018, it was pretty cool. Just spend some times together every now and then. We were not riding together all the time, but
just get to see somebody.
Yeah, and then you by the night falls, you meet each other again. It's like, oh, let's camp together and stuff like that. So that's nice. But this time, I was riding alone. Other than the time with Josh, I think I've been riding alone the entire route. Yeah, so which is nice.
I like the people on the route too. To meet some people. To
this year, it's
so you like to. Like you like to be alone, but then like come into a town and like you get to see somebody, then you're alone again.
Yeah.
That's one thing. If you're racing, for example, in Morocco or places like that, no one even knows there's something going on. But here it's like, even compared with 2018, the races, it's really living out here. Even people who would probably never rode a bike themselves in their entire life, they know about it and they come at you in towns and they're following your dot and they come and give you hugs and there was a lot of support on the track this year, which was really cool. And it gives you a massive moral boost when someone just comes at you and says you're doing great, and then just for chatting for a minute and then you're good to go again. But and I always feel a bit like selfish when people do the effort to come out and reach you and talk with you, but at some point you want to get going again, and a lot of people would like, you can tell they would like to like stand there for an hour talking with you, but it's I guess they understand as well.
Yeah.
When you're really racing in, let's say,
I don't know how many
10.
of them understand. Some of them are going to understand, and others won't have a clue, and they'll stand there and talk to you all day.
Yeah, probably they don't have a clue, but they realize you want to get going again as well. So.
You got to do what you got to do. Sofiane had a good idea. He put out a message on the podcast we recorded yesterday. He said, if you want to talk to me, wait at the top of a very big hill. He's like, I probably want to stop and talk for a minute. He's like, if you stop on a downhill, if you're like on a downhill, I'm just going to wave.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, as a dot watcher, you got to be strategic, you got to bring your A game.
Yeah, there was a lot of support, which is really cool.
When you say support, you're talking about emotional support. I mean,
just people who
just to clarify,
just people who say hi, and that's about it. A lot of people do offer food, and
right,
So many
See,
times
that's what I mean. Like not all those dot watchers really understand what's going on. They'll offer you food. They'll
I'd say a lot of them
drink.
don't really know the ethics about the whole race, and so many times I had to say like. Yeah, if you're planning to stay here 3-4 more weeks to like offer all the other races food and water as well, I can take it. But it's no, that you probably won't, right? So
I was talking to Matthew Lee yesterday on the phone, and he said one of the issues is like even I don't want to give out any specific examples because I don't know the specifics, but he said that there are some like quote unquote resources on route, some trail angels that they'll be offering stuff at the beginning of race, but then like the race is 2, 3, 4 weeks long, and by that time the back of the pack is coming through, they're not offering those resources anymore, whether it's like a place to stay or a cooler for a food and all that stuff. And so there's even that goes on, not even just the dot watchers, but I mean it's a long race, I mean,
if you want to have like some food and drinks somewhere out in the middle of nowhere for 4 weeks long.
Yeah, it's a lot. You got to go back and restock with ice and food and all that stuff. But I never thought about that. But I guess that makes sense. Like they get tired and lose interest or something like that. So, yeah, there's another advantage for going fast, I guess. You can expect some more of the amenities to be available to you. But this race is getting big. Y'all have raced a lot of other places. Is there any other race that draws this much attention and interest? I mean, from my perspective as a dumb American, Tour Divide is like the biggest race that has the most attention on it.
I think like many other races that put a lot of effort into social media, they go like a long way in terms of attention. But yeah, Tour Divide is still like
Are the pork chops
it's
done?
like a worldwide known almost race, and then it's really alive. And I think even if there's like no social media team or stuff going on around this race, I think it's still for sure one of the biggest attention drawing races.
Makes sense. It's the longest. The route, everybody along the route has had.
And it's been there for so long as well.
They know, the community knows, people know, and they're all, it's becoming a thing.
I was really surprised, like so many people that are following it and sending messages and stuff like that.
Was it much different than it was in 2018? Because that was just 4 years ago. So did you notice a difference in the amount of, maybe dot watchers or resources on route, trail angels?
Not in terms of trail angels and stuff like that. It was really similar. But yeah, a lot more people like send me messages to support. And so yeah, in terms of that, it was a bit different. It's probably because I was just writing better, I guess, as well.
Yeah. You were second instead of...
I guess it makes a
you were
difference.
15 days instead of 18 days.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. You even see, I guess, how when you're a loser, when you're not... Yeah, we're joking because Jeff Sharp here, I think everyone past like 5th place is a loser, which isn't true.
No
it's a
losers
joke.
in this game.
It's a joke. It's a joke. We can laugh a little bit, right?
Sure.
So Adrien, I think you already said you're coming back for sure. You said
for sure.
that,
Yeah.
for sure. When do you think that you might want to take another stab at it?
When?
Yeah.
I don't know. In 2 or 3 years, I don't know.
Yeah. What did you learn anything? Well, obviously you took notes, but what did you learn? Do you know now some things you might do different the next time you do it?
Yeah, I can be lighter on my bike, take less stuff. You don't need really a sleeping system, I think, for this race, because
Whoa.
You can sleep inside almost every night. And
when you say inside, you mean like utilizing pit
in
toilets?
an hotel,
Or a hotel.
toilet, shelter. Yeah, you can found some nice shelter, like at the top of the Union Pass. There is it's like an hotel. It's a winter shelter with wood inside, with bed, with everything.
Yeah, I don't think I would be willing to take the risk myself.
Yeah, that sounds, because I mean, you have inclement weather, you could get stranded.
Just in case of, I'm maybe more or maybe too much a kind of guy which it's like more like better safe than sorry way of racing. And yeah, this time I even took a really lightweight tent and everything, and I was really happy at some points that I had it with me, because like, for example, if you get into this mud in the middle of the night and there's no way of getting out of there, it's just nice to have a place to stay in. And like having no sleeping gear, for me personally, it would be like making things a lot harder, which also results in like, a different mental state at some point, which makes you slower. So, and that probably doesn't weigh in against the fact that you just have like, like a nice bivy or a tent with you. It's a different, everyone has his own like strategy, and some people probably are just mentally in this part stronger than I am, or I couldn't do it without a sleeping system. Personally, I don't think that would be a good idea, but
yeah,
I mean, there's if you're like kind of lucky, indeed, you can always find a place, and there's indeed like a lot of hotels and or shelters or like toilet pits where you can stay in, and so there's definitely options.
Yeah, what do you think about about not having like a backup? Like, what would you do if shit went bad and you don't have a tent or a sleep system?
I never took a tent during races, even during the Silk Road mountain race.
Never?
No.
So this is normal for you?
Yeah, to not have a tent, yeah.
So what do you do when shit gets bad? Just keep riding?
Yeah. I prefer to ride in the snow or in the rain than to sleep in the rain, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, that's always a better thing to keep moving, because Otherwise, I mean, all your stuff gets wet anyway, and it makes you lose a lot of time
This year I was
energy as well. But
I was almost without rain jacket, and so I rode in the rain. I was totally wet.
You're tough, man. I can do
What's
it.
all right, Adrien? What is the hardest part of endurance racing for you? It's not the weather. It's not going forever without stopping. It's not losing all your gear and having to fix it at the last minute and mentally stay in it. I mean, you scratched and then you got back in. I mean, what part of this is hard for you?
One of the easiest part is the cycling part, because you ride at your own pace, so it's not hard, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, indeed. I think the cycling part is the easiest.
yeah, it's the hardest part is, I don't know.
Fatigue, like sleep, fighting the sleep demons.
Yeah, the sleeping part, I think. Yeah, to find a good balance between sleeping and cycling. Yeah, the less you sleep, the slower you are, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finding a balance between getting enough sleep to recover enough to have enough power the next day.
So how do both of y'all think that you managed your sleep schedule? Because obviously you sleep too much, you're falling behind. But if you don't sleep enough, you don't have the energy to keep pushing. So how did y'all manage that this year?
Yeah, it's a fine line. Yeah, for me, from the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep 4 hours a night and just ride faster. And I think most of the nights, that's what I actually did. Like a bit more towards the end, I was still feeling pretty good, and I had a few nights where I only slept like 2-3 hours. But other than that, yeah, it felt good to like have a good amount of sleep. Because for myself, it just makes you a more happy man the next day. You know, your headspace is it's just more fun, and I enjoy it a lot more to have the feeling that you're recovered a little better and you're just riding a little faster than being on a bike. Like a zombie in my case, if I would only sleep as much as like Sofiane does, I couldn't do that. I mean, I could in a shorter race, but not this long.
Yeah.
That would really tear me up. So, yeah, and I guess everyone is different in this perspective, and
So you managed yours pretty well this year.
yeah, it's really hard. Like easy to get, get into the race too much and start sleeping less because when you're tired, it's easy to start thinking that, oh, I gotta sleep less because then I'm gonna get closer to the guy in front of me. But usually it works the way around, you know. It's a long race and you have to like stay mentally in a good mood, and that's gonna bring you a lot further than sleeping less and feeling bad the entire day. So yeah, for me, it's the way I did it was actually, yeah, really good. It's just, yeah, perfect actually. Yeah.
All right, Adrien, how about you?
Sorry.
He was sleeping.
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
That's funny. We're almost done. So the question was, how did you manage your sleep through the race? Like that balance
I slept a lot.
You did?
I slept 3-4 hours each night, I think.
every single night. No,
Yeah.
you skipped one night, right? When you passed.
Yeah, after
You went 36 hours, I think.
Yeah, after the peanut butter, yeah.
Yeah, to make up for that.
No, it was different. I tried to sleep a bit near this dam, and the police catch me in the toilet, and I had to move. And
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh,
And
damn.
it was not the police; it was the
forest
park
service.
ranger?
security guard.
Ah,
Oh, security guard. Okay.
Yeah, I put everything to dry in this because I was full of mud in this toilet, and I have to move, and I move on the other side of the lake, and I slept outside under a table It rained that night.
Was it in one of these recreation areas?
Yeah. And I slept only 1 hour. No, I slept a lot, like sometimes 4 hours in motel. It was so nice the day after.
Yeah, so you feel good, and it makes you happier.
Yeah.
Day after, and it's really important.
Sleep is important.
Yeah.
We forgot to get your answer on if you're coming back to the Tour Divide.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's just so much other races I would like to do. And I toured this route once, and I raced it now twice. So yeah, for now, I don't know. I'm really happy that I came in second, so I don't have the feeling like there's unfinished business.
Right.
Of course, winning it would have been even better, but I never came here really to win, or it was just like I wanted to push myself as hard as I could, and just do as good as I possibly could, and that's what I did. So I'm really happy man this way. So you never know, I guess. Maybe later in the future, but yeah, for now I don't have the feeling I will be back really soon.
There's a lot of events, a lot of places to see and go ride your bike. And
exactly.
If you have a good result here and you're happy, no unfinished business.
Yep.
Adrien's got some unfinished business. It was only his first year though, so you had, this is your third time here.
Yeah.
This is Sofiane's fourth time, I believe, right? Fourth, including your touring. Yeah, and it's just your first, so we got time. Sofiane, did you confirm that? This is the first year that we've had the podium was all Europeans?
Yeah, I did some research, and it appears that it's the first time ever that we have a 100% European podium on the Tour Divide.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Europe taking over, man. Nothing you can do to stop us.
Well, I don't know. Y'all keep coming over here, and you're like, Sofiane's done. You're not coming back. Manu's done. Adrien's going to have to carry the mantle for Europe next year. Yeah. Maybe next year we'll have Neil.
You said in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Usually
2 or 3 years.
That's what happens when you finish Tour Divide. You're like, I might come back, but not right away.
So are we all happy here with our finishes? Sofiane, you got first. You don't have to do this anymore.
I don't have to do it, and I won't do it anymore.
You might.
It's like, I don't know. I don't want to. But you never know.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what can I achieve now?
Yeah. What's left?
Like, there's this record still.
Did you update your profile?
I need to do it. Didn't do it yet.
Y'all got to go check out Sofiane's Instagram profile. It's gonna be rather tidy. A lot of gold medals on there.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like winning.
All right. So what's next for everybody? This is a good question, especially whenever we get to Adrien. What's next for you? Once we get all y'all home, which is just a logistical, funny mess on.
Yeah.
We talked about it early on the podcast about, no one talks about this part of the.
This is the worst part of Tour Divide, man.
Right?
This is getting from that border to wherever you live.
Yes.
For me,
and you have no resources here other than Jeff.
Yeah,
that's it.
Jeff is pretty much the only guy we know here, because that's pretty much the only guy here.
There's
probably 30 or 40 people living in Hachita. So
yeah,
and out of those 40 people, 39 absolutely do not care about Tour Divide. So. I mean, for me, what's next? Trying to get to Los Angeles, then flying home to Paris. Kiss my girlfriend and keep sleeping and eating a lot, and in about 40 days lining up for the Silk Road Mountain Race.
Feeling good about it?
Stoked, man.
Yeah.
This is one of the most incredible experience that you can have on a bike. Racing the Silk Road Mountain Race is like something else.
Why?
Man, it's like, I mean, I think we were talking about this in the car yesterday, or I don't know. I'm confusing the days because I'm sleeping probably 16 hours every day. So maybe it was a couple days ago. I mean, Tour Divide is a nice experience, but it's like you're traveling, but you're not. I mean, in terms of the place where you are, it's not as foreign as Central Asia. When you're in the United States, you have reference. You've seen whatever you see, you've seen it in the movies, you've seen it on TV, you read about it. It's somewhat familiar. When you're in Central Asia, when you're in Kyrgyzstan, everything is just like completely different, completely foreign, and you really have this. Yeah, and you really have this feeling of traveling like so far in a place that is so unfamiliar and being so lost. And this is what I love actually about traveling. What I love about traveling is not knowing what's happening, having like no reference, and just trying to find a way to make things work, and just feeling like I'm in a
whole different world. Like Silk Road is just a whole nother world.
And
the
then
culture
Silk Road
different,
is
the
like
language.
then in terms of just scenery and beauty, it's almost impossible to do better. I mean, Tour Divide has some really, really nice scenery, but there's also some parts that are just average, and you have to go through them. I guess it's pretty much impossible to have like a 2,500 miles of just breathtaking scenery.
Right. There's going to be some shitty parts. There's going to be some bad roads.
You have to go through some shitty parts like the basin, stuff like that. and the Hartsel to Salida. I think Manu, you like that too. Huh? Yeah. But it's like when you're in Kyrgyzstan and you're racing the Silk Road, it's super hard. But I remember that this one time I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to sit down and stop cycling. But it was not even hard because I just sat down. I was sitting down on this bridge and I was just looking around me and I was like, wow.
What am I complaining about?
Yeah. I was like, sure, I'm doing not even 10 miles an hour today, like probably, 8 or 7 miles an hour. But the fact that I get to spend the entire day in these mountains, in this scenery, I felt so privileged. Yeah.
All right, Manu, what's next for you? You're switching to dad and support team.
I'll get back to work like a day after I'm getting back in Belgium. So I think this was my main goal for the year, and I'm not sure yet. I think some smaller events, more like local and that don't require plane flights and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll definitely do some like short and hard races, I guess. But I really still have to figure it out what and when. So for now, there's actually no plan yet.
You've been planning and preparing for this for, did you say 18 months, the Tour Divide?
It's been on my mind since then, but really specific, preparing, it wouldn't be that long. I mean, maybe a year or so.
A year. That's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I mean, it builds up gradually, it's from the idea I'm gonna race again until this day of start. It's I mean, sometimes you're just doing your thing and you're just training, but it's only really the last 3 months before the start that you're actually starting to digging deeper in the whole race and route and stuff like that. Not that I actually had a lot of time to do this, but just as much as I could, I tried to. But actually, for example, getting to spend some time on the route and resupplies and all that, it's really only the last week before the race actually I had time for that. So, and I mean, also because I'd done it twice before, and on this race there's just so much information available that it gets almost really easy. So, I mean, you could do this race like Adrien. You could do it without any idea of what's going on or resupplies if it's just a matter of taking enough, and then you will manage to do fine. So yeah.
So your wife is doing Atlas. When does Atlas take place? I don't know.
I think it's beginning of October, right?
Okay, we got time.
Sofiane will know.
Yeah, the 2
Huh?
possible. 2 of October, no?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, so, yeah.
1 or 2. The first weekend.
Okay, yeah.
June. So we got
Sweet.
July, August, September. So basically 3 months.
Yeah.
So she'll be, your wife is going to be
Yeah, I'll be getting home and she will start like training hard again.
really hard. That's like perfect timing almost the way
Yeah,
that worked
yeah.
out. Did y'all plan that? Yeah, she'd have that.
No, not
just
really.
the way it works out. Yeah.
She,
That's exciting. How do you think she'll do? Predictions.
Well, I don't know. For now, she got registered as a duo with a girlfriend of hers. But she just got surgery, so it will all depends a little bit on how that works out. If not, I think she might still go solo. I don't know. I think she will do pretty good. Like when I was talking with her a few days ago on the phone, she was like, "Oh, when I hear you, I think I should push harder as well."
Yeah.
She just 2 months ago she did Italy Divide, and yeah, for her it was like her first bigger event, and yeah, I'm sure she can do better, but it's not a matter of like pushing yourself in this kind of races super hard from the beginning. I think it's better to just build it up and stay comfortable in the zone you're in at that moment. And every event you do, you will get faster, or you will be able to push yourself a little harder. So
Yeah.
I think it's better to do it that way than just push yourself like all the way and not enjoying a single minute as well, you know. So
Yeah, that's good advice. Every race is going to be different.
Yeah.
You're going to feel different. You got to just live in the moment and do the best you can.
but
The real question is, will she be faster than Adrien's girlfriend?
The girlfriends are going toe to toe.
Battle of the girlfriend.
nice, yeah.
Good
Yeah, I mean-
segue.
Yeah, I think she will do good. She's pretty tough, and she just doesn't have a lot of experience yet in racing, although she has a lot of experience in just being out there adventuring. So, and that's also like a big part of races like that, especially in Morocco, where you're like in a completely different world than, for example, coming over here in the US and race here. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Heck yeah.
And it's gonna be like not too much sleeping and watching the daughter a lot of the time.
Yeah, the roles will be reversed and you'll be sleep deprived for a different reason.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to go back there as well. It's a really nice one.
All right,
beautiful.
Adrien. So you're going home to Switzerland. You got your job, you got your house, and everything's waiting for you there.
No, I quit my job. I quit my flat. So now I'm homeless. But my bike and all my stuff are already in a box somewhere. So I have to race another long race.
Wait, you got to race where?
I don't know. Maybe the French Divide in August. Yeah.
We should have mentioned that. They did find your bike. You have all your gear
Yeah.
somewhere.
They find my bike. I think the day 3 or 4 of the race. So I don't know where is my bike now. Maybe in Switzerland, maybe in Vancouver. I don't know. But they found my bike. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a relief. So you don't have a house, you don't have a job, you don't have a plan, but you got a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have to. No.
So what's your plan now? Like, first things first, like book a plane ticket?
Yeah, to get out of this city and to find a plane to come back to Switzerland or France or Paris, I don't know. And
Come with me.
in LA, why not? Yeah, why not? And after that, the French Divide, and my second main race of the year is the Rhino Run in South Africa and Namibia in October.
Okay, so you and Sofiane are both doing that one?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. And that's a new event this first year for that one, the Rhino Run.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait to...
With a lot of rider and road racer too. It's going to be interesting to watch this one, yeah.
Oh, we got another finisher.
Yeah, Ben's there.
Oh, is that your buddy Ben?
Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
You got
Alive and
pizza?
kicking.
Good job, man. Good job. Good to see you, man. Danny, you killed it, brother. You.
I think. All right, Adrien. So you're going back to nothing, and you're gonna do some races. What about your girlfriend? So your girlfriend is also doing Atlas.
yeah, maybe we plan to race the Atlas in pair, but we don't know yet. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Okay. So
It's
if
an
you
idea.
race it as a pair, you just have to finish together. That's the only you can help each other.
Yeah,
You're together, and you got to finish together. That's the deal.
yeah, that's the rule. Yeah.
Maybe I should get in pair with my girlfriend and race as a couple together.
Who's gonna watch
Yeah,
the
why not?
kids?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's kind of long to find a babysit, right? No, that's not gonna happen. It would be nice though.
Well, let's wrap it up because we got some new riders here, and we were pretty much done anyway. But congratulations to both of y'all.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's been an
thanks.
honor, man.
Thanks
It's
for
an-
picking me up at the border. It was like really nice.
Yeah, me
You're
too.
welcome. I still don't know how you knew it was me, because he doesn't fucking know me. I don't think so. We've never met before.
No, I mean,
And I'm like taking pictures and like from kind of far away, he's like, Patrick. Like, how the fuck do you know? How do you
yeah,
know?
because Jeffrey just told me, and I heard from my girlfriend that you said in some podcast episode that you were thinking about like coming over here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I've been
So,
teasing a little bit.
Uh,
I just didn't know if it would work out with the schedule, to make it, because you never know when people are going to finish.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got kids too.
but it almost felt like I knew you because I just got into your podcast actually along this race, and I was listening to a lot of episodes, and so yeah, I was like, there's someone at the finish line, and I knew it was you, so that
was
really
fun.
cool. Yeah,
It's cool
Thanks
that
for
people are out on the Tour Divide, like listening to my podcast. And now you get to be honest. So next time maybe you listen. Will you listen to your own podcast?
Yeah, cool.
All right. Anything else? All good.
Yeah, I'm really good. Happy man.
Happy man.
Yep.
Adrien, you a happy man?
Yeah,
Really pleased with your performance?
yeah. I'm happy with this. Yeah,
Yeah. Going from maybe not riding at all to coming in third
yeah.
on borrowed and stolen gear. Mostly just borrowed and bought, I think.
Yeah, pretty epic.
All right, gentlemen, congrats. It's been an honor to, it's crazy. We have 1, 2, and 3, and I don't even know who else we have here, but it's a great honor to be here. And this is it's been a dream for me to do this for years, to come and hang out and meet
Nice.
you racers and get a chance to talk to you. So might have to do this again.
Glad we were a part of it. Yeah, it was awesome. Spent a few days together.
Next time I'll come over to Europe and we'll do another podcast over there. I'm tired of doing them in America. I gotta get to stretch my bike legs.
Yeah, come and ride in Europe and do a bikepacking trip and
Yeah.
do some podcasts. There's
That's what
sure
needs to
some-
happen.
interesting
All right, boys.
things. All right.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's eat some food. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thanks again to Manu and Adrien for coming on the episode. Hope you guys are getting settled back down there in Europe. I see that Adrien has already done some kind of race. It's another one I've never heard of, but he got back into town and hopped right back on his bike, which I guess shouldn't be surprising for these guys. Next week, we're going to have Nick Marzano back on the podcast. You'll remember he was just on episode 119. We caught up to him while he was halfway through this year's Tour Divide. And we decided it would be great, obviously, to have him back on the podcast and get the conclusion, because he did finish. But we're going to leave that story for next week's episode. And remember, if you want access to that extra hour of bonus content from Sofiane Sehili just minutes after winning the Tour Divide, that episode is available to patrons. If you're not a patron, you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. You can get access to that, a lot more benefits, but most of all, you'll be supporting your favorite bikepacking podcast. Find out more over at patreon.com/bikesardeath. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world. Now go ride your damn bike.
It was the middle of the night. You grabbed your knife and you held it tight. The sounds of beasts kept you awake. The sounds they made kept you afraid. In the morning, you packed your bike. Memories forgotten from the previous night. You rode faster than ever before. Was it your imagination or merely folklore? Fear turned into strength as you pushed further. Every pedal stroke stronger and firmer. Your bike feels weightless, your legs aren't tired. You think to yourself, just a few more miles. Bikes or death. Bikes